Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I finally made a new video and we're talking of course about the 10 Ironmans in 12 months because I have done the first Ironman of my 10 Ironmans journey and it went really well. I can't complain. So let's get into it. As you know, a couple of months ago I decided that I wanted to do 10 Ironmans within 1 year with all the traveling and exploring, really pushing my own limits. So this year I'm doing first 5 Ironmans, which is gonna be Kalmar, then Wales in 3 weeks, then I've got Kona in October, oh my god, then I'm heading to Cozumel, Mexico, and the last one this year is gonna be Western Australia. And for the Ironmans next year, I don't actually have quite the schedule yet, I'm still working on it because there is so many great races out there and I have to make it like somehow logistically possible. Let's talk about the training build-up. I've introduced you to Coach Toby and we've worked together really closely in the past 12 weeks because when I started, I came right from the bodybuilding stage and I had zero endurance. I haven't had carbs in 8 months and all I've actually ever done was walking. I really had to get back on track and starting from scratch. It was really tough and I was scared and I wasn't sure if that's like even possible. So we started very slowly. We had only 12 weeks to prep for an Ironman and I would not recommend this to anyone, but I've done it because I've done Ironmans before and I thought that if I go really slow in my first couple of Ironmans, I might have a chance to do that. However, I got back in the pool and I was terrified. I haven't obviously done any swimming ever since my last Ironman. And also what was really tough for me is because now that I live in Switzerland and I used to live in Germany where it was way flatter when I trained, training here is so different. So most of my running sessions I actually do in the gym. For cycling, I have like sort of a 50-kilometer lap around here that I do, but it's got 1 billion meters of elevation and it's like very frustrating coming from zero endurance and flat areas to go into hilly areas because you go very slow, you need to make more breaks. And I got used to that a little bit and I sort of pushed myself into doing it because Ironman Wales is gonna have a lot of elevation. Also, Kona is really tough with the winds, and next year I'm gonna do Ironman Switzerland, and also that has like 1 billion meters of elevation. Then again, I had to gain a bit of weight because I was like at a very low body weight percentage from bodybuilding, and that's not sustainable for endurance sports. That's not the body that can survive Ironmans. I kind of forgot how to eat intuitively because everything was so structured and planned, and every single meal was tracked in the past 8 months, and now I just went ahead and had like my desserts and my pasta and made sure I got all the good proteins, all the carbs, all the fats. But then again, weight gain of course is sort of difficult to navigate sometimes, even though I knew like logically it was necessary for me as an athlete. It was quite tough. Honestly, I love my body, I love how strong my body is, even though I'm like 10-15 kilos up. I don't even weigh myself anymore, like why does it matter? And it's been tough. Toby is hardcore. I love him because he prioritizes fun and consistency, but still he was kicking my ass. Oh my god, all the heavy intervals, we had like I think run intervals every week. We did like 10 times 200 all out, but also like a couple of bike intervals, and that was really tough for me to get the VO2 max back up because only base endurance is not gonna do that. So we went to Kalmar. I think the People's Choice Ironmans are the thing. And getting there was the first adventure. We didn't have any direct flights. You either go to Stockholm or to Copenhagen and then you have like a 3-4 hour drive, again, which is hard because I don't have a driving license yet. So we took the plane to Copenhagen quite late because Roger can't just leave for work for like a whole week. So we left on Thursday and we arrived sort of like midnight in Kalmar. The most stunning, beautiful little cottage. Of course, I was late to book a hotel. So yeah, we were like 25 minutes out or something. Overall, Kalmar is like so small and sweet. You got like the little bakery shops. It's beautiful, it's stunning, but it's very, very small. So it's like a small city to host such a massive event, but at the same time, the whole city is the Ironman and everyone's part of the experience. Sweden is really celebrating it so much. Friday morning, we had the first challenge. We got the bikes out and I put out too much air of my tubes, so the sealant was all over my bike suitcase and I didn't even know if I could like fix it. Roger's bike was sort of completely crashed because he used my smaller suitcase and it didn't quite fit, and we got it in and it didn't survive it. So we had to visit 4 or 5 bike shops on Friday, the day before race day, trying to fix it or even trying to find a new bike. It seemed like quite the complicated thing to fix. Even like the bike guys didn't know how to fix it. In the end, we found a guy who could drag the cables out of the bike and he attached it on the outside. Can you imagine how that looked? And Roger could only use his rear shift, but he's like, that's this guy who's like, yeah, it's no problem, I can use my rear shift. Who needs a front shift anyways? But we were able to fix it, do a test swim, do a test drive with the bikes, do the check-in registration. I just picked up my backpack, the most important Ironman accessory, and do like setting up the transition zones and everything, but it was a stressful Friday. I would not recommend to arrive a day before Ironman. Like, please, if you ever plan for something like that, go on Wednesday, go on Tuesday. Take a week off if you have that. Let's get into race day. I got up at 4:30 in the morning. I did my breakfast. I had like Nutella sandwiches and stuff. I was very nervous. Race morning, driving to the start line is 5:30. Very excited. I got glitter freckles. I'm a bit tired. So nervous. Let's hope it's gonna be a good day. I haven't done Ironmans in 2 years and it was quite hard for me back then, and I didn't know if I have it in me. I was kind of scared of the sea in Kalmar. It looked very rough and dark, and there was jellyfish in the sea. All these factors playing into race morning, and there's the nervous buzz, and you get to the start line. We had to walk quite a bit from the parking lot. Good morning from the transition zone. It's 5:30 a.m. We're getting ready for the day. I'm super excited. Bike's ready, air pressure is great, let's go. We arrived on time and the start line was pure magic. They had Vikings singing, the biggest music sound system I've ever seen in my life in a race. It looked like Tomorrowland. They played music, everyone was like nervous. And what I really loved is that the first timers had their own hats. So you could see from the colors who was a first timer. Such a magical mood. I was almost in tears for the first time that day. And then there was a rolling start. The gun went off massively and people were slowly starting to get into the water. Roger and I, we were the 1:30 group, which was very ambitious for me because I'm not a fast swimmer. We got into the water and it was busy. So many people, I think almost 3,000 triathletes, I'm not sure. I started breaststroking the first 2 or 3 boys because I was navigating. The course is quite complicated, it's not straight, so you always look if they go right or left. And I just followed the crowd and I didn't quite get into a crawl stroke because as a small woman, I think sometimes it can be so overwhelming. People are like kicking and dragging. And I really took it like slow with my breaststroke. Roger stayed with me the first couple of 100 meters and we were like checking in like, how you doing? But then all of a sudden, because I'm a slow swimmer, the group was gone. I had space and I don't know what it was, probably my new wetsuit, but I felt like Superwoman. And I'm a bad swimmer, I'm not great in open water. But I had this suit on and I started crawl stroking and it was actually fun for the first time in my life. And I didn't push myself, I was just really vibing, like taking my time, boy to boy to boy, and time flies by. I saw like a couple of jellyfish, but I stayed really calm the whole time and I really enjoyed it. And then you get back to the harbor area and there's people cheering you on in the water, in a swim. I've never seen that before. Like you're like swimming parallel and people are actually screaming. Wow, what an atmosphere. And then we got back, that was it, like the swim was done, can you imagine? And I took exactly 1 hour 30, which is massive for me. It's a big improvement. 2 years ago in Tallinn, I think I had like 2 hours 5. And I didn't even rush myself, right? It was just like easy peasy, breezy. And then I went to go find my bike. I found my Stardust Chaser in one piece. I took, I think, about 6 or 7 minutes. Decided against an extra layer. I brought extras in case it was too cold, but I was like, nah, the sun's out, let's go. I left transition and just started paddling, easing into the ride. You know, it's gonna be a long day out there. You're gonna be so many hours on the bike. And of course, because I haven't studied the road before, I think I went slightly downhill the first 50 kilometers because I was so fast. I had like a 33-kilometer average. I had such a good time. I was in my arrow position. It was very comfortable. People around me, everyone was having such a good time. And then you cross the Swedish villages. Everyone and their mother was out cheering. Everyone, the whole village, every village. We went village to village, I think around Öland, is that the place? Up until until like kilometer 50, I was 100% fit. I didn't have any problems. Besides my bottles tasting like absolute soap trash water, because I don't know, I think my dishwasher is broken here at home. And I was like, wow. Like you taste the first bit and you're like, is that soap? But it's your gel, so you kind of have to take it. It's your only source of energy. Then after 50 kilometers, I launched my bag bottles into orbit. The girl behind me was like, hey, you're losing your bottles. I was like, what? Roger mounted the rear mount the day before. Apparently not good enough, because they started like looking somewhere. I don't know what happened. I couldn't see anything in the bag. Lost one bottle already, and then I quickly stopped and put the other one to the side because I didn't want to hurt another athlete. But that meant that I had to switch strategy. So I had to switch to Morton, and I've never touched a Morton gel in my life because I'm very conservative in what I use. And I had the first bite. Have you had a Morton gel in your life? What is that? You actually had to like bite it. You can't like swallow. It was the grossest effing thing I've ever had in my mouth. I don't love this. And also then we had some headwinds and some side winds, so it got a bit rougher. But I tried to stay positive. I was like, hey, you're really doing great. The bike is amazing. You're having a good day. People are celebrating. I didn't care so much about the pace. I was just really trying to not burn myself and stay in zone 2, which worked perfectly. And somehow I kind of finished with like, was it 6 hours 30, which is way faster. I got off the bike with that massive improvement. I switched into my run skirt. I didn't want to run with the bib shorts, but I never wear a tri-suit for long distance because I need the extra cushioning. And I took about 8 to 10 minutes in transition, had some snacks, I put my run skirt on, and my legs were heavy, of course. It was a 14-kilometer lap. You just start and you're like, damn, I gotta run a marathon now. I'm the marathon princess, so it's just a marathon. And I know, like, I've done this before. I know what marathon feels like. Just go ahead, step by step. And you start to wrap it up like 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers. And it was hot. And I realized that never in my life in an Ironman have I seen the sun in the run, because usually when I get off the bike, the sun's gone and I'm running until midnight. And I started burning everywhere because I didn't bring sunscreen, because usually we run at night. But again, the people, Kalmar really carried you all the way to the finish line. There was not a single lap, not a single meter without cheering. It even got a little bit too much because it's overwhelming. You got the heat, the sun, everyone screaming at you, and it was like, whoa. I started chatting with some people because that's what I do in an Ironman marathon. This little time flies by a little faster, but then again, it's very hard to find someone exactly at your pace. Everyone's struggling, everyone's pushing. I finished the first lap and you get a hair tie to mark that you did the first lap, and you get on the second lap and you're like, fuck, still 28 kilometers left. Somehow I went really, really strong up until kilometer 35, which is when I saw Roger the first time. And I haven't seen him all day. I was even worried. I was like, where is he? Why I'm not seeing him anywhere? But there he was, and we crossed paths on the run road. I thought I'm ahead of him and he's behind. Let's wait, it's your boyfriend, it's his first Ironman at kilometer 35. Because of that. That was that mental small push that got me over the edge of pushing. I was like, I'm gonna walk, Roger, it's coming. I was wrong and he was ahead of me and I was the one behind. Our distance grew. I really had a tough time. For the last couple of kilometers, it really gets so hard. You're tired, you're nauseous, you wanna quit, and the demons start picking up on you and you just keep fighting and everything is so painful, and you just go aid station to aid station and had like my fuel. I always went with like a bite of Morton and some electrolytes, but I kind of pushed through and I got to the finish line and Roger waited for me in the finish line. Wow, it's been such a dream day. That was my Kalmar experience. I had the best time. I think I can recommend this so much for beginner athletes, but also for like experienced athletes who really want to go fast and see what they got in their legs. I had a couple of lessons learned from my ongoing Ironmans that I'm definitely gonna implement for the next times. But I will definitely come back to Kalmar one day, because that is the biggest party of triathlon. So now we only got 9 Ironmans to go, right? 1 down, 9 to go. Next one is Wales in 3 weeks. It's gonna be very different. It's gonna be a new challenge. I'm crazy excited about how this is gonna be. So follow along, subscribe, because this is just the beginning of the craziest year of my life.